This is Radar from the Radar Table coming at you with another edition of MLB Observation, Hostile Edition Week 13, ending this past season of the 2023 calendar season, going into this year's 2024 season as we're in the month of February. So before you know it, pitchers and catchers will report. Caleb Bousley is going to the Twins on a minor league deal. The White Sox DFA'd utility man Roman Gonzalez, who's never been healthy or productive. The Red Sox acquired him off waivers, but then DFA'd reliever Zach White. So White Sox fans like myself will be able to watch Roman Gonzalez when the Red Sox come to town. Matt Festa, journeyman reliever, is going to the Padres on a minor league deal. Dodgers signed Kevin Paldo, the utility player, and TJ McFarland. McFarland's been on the block as a relief pitcher. So the Dodgers are strengthening their bullpen on a low-level move, and I can see McFarland pitching crucial innings for the Dodgers. Cubs have signed Carl Edwards Jr. to a minor league deal, and you'll go like, that sounds familiar. You know why it sounds familiar? Because Carl Edwards Jr. was a former starting pitching prospect who was never real healthy and was a reliever who was never healthy, but he was on the Cubs previously, and when they won the World Series. So it's like this guy has bounced around the league enough that they can get a low-level deal out of him because they're familiar with him. Texas Rangers have DFA'd Dana Duarte in spite of picking him off waivers from the Reds recently. Tommy Ramirez minor deal with San Francisco. National DFA catcher Israel Pineda. Josh Rogers is re-signing on the Rockies minor league deal because he's a swing guy. They can keep him. Tyler Beatty's going to Cleveland. He'll pitch for them probably. Roque Sasaki, instead of coming to the United States, has gone back to Japan. Angels have DFA'd Trey Cavich. And then he went to the Astros for Carlos Espina, and they DFA'd Declan Cronin. So literally, Trey Cavich goes from Anaheim to Houston. Houston gives up Carlos Espinosa and DFA'd Declan Cronin. Trey Cavich is like a corner infield quad A guy. He's not really that great in the major leagues so far, but really good in the minor leagues. So the Astros already have enough depth there. Cole Tucker is going to the Mariners, a minor league deal, and they, in general, aren't set on who's playing third base. They're not set on who's playing second base. He could be a backup on this team. Tigers DFA Devin Sweet. Danny Columbi avoided arbitration with the Orioles. Yankees picked up Matt Gage off waivers from the Astros. Cardinals picked up Alfonso Rivas off waivers from Cleveland or Pittsburgh, whatever. He's bounced around so much. The Cardinals are pretty much set with Goldschmidt and Matt Carpenter at first base, so I don't really get that. They have DFA Gomez. Astros have re-signed Joe Kuhnel to a minor league deal, and Drew Strotman. Yankees DFA, there's Diego Castillo, not the reliever. Cubs have signed Richard Lovelady to a minor league deal, and he's been around the block as a swing guy, so the Cubs can use him. Blue Jays, who picked up Ryan Servant off waivers from the Cubs and the Rockies, etc. Blue Jays took him off the roster because they don't need him. Samad Taylor, the former infielder outfielder with the Royals, has gone to the Mariners. Again, they're not sure about second base, and they're not even sure about their whole entire outfield. So, outside of obviously Julio Rodriguez. Craig Allen's on my deal with the Yankees, and that's good organizational depth because we all know Judge doesn't stay healthy, Stanton doesn't stay healthy. Yes, they got Alex Verdugo, and they also got themselves Tyrone Taylor, but for the most part, that's a good minor league deal, backup outfielder in Greg Allen. Yankees are smart there. D-backs have DFA'd Colin Snyder, Mets DFA'd outfielder Tyler Heineman, Anthony Banda and Dom Nunes going to Cleveland. Banda's a swing guy who's been on the block. Cleveland could use that. Dom Nunes is a good backup catcher. O's have picked up Andrew Suarez, former Cardinals pitcher, again, a swing guy. They can use him the innings. Mariners also picked up Nick Solak on a minor league deal again. What does he play? Second base. What can play? The outfield. So, again, Pittsburgh Pirates have signed Willie Peralta, the former Brewers starting pitcher and longtime pitcher. Again, if he makes the team out of spring training, they don't got to pay him a lot of money. 2, they can always trade him at the deadline. They also DFA Kenan Smith and Njigba. There's no point. They're not going to play him. If Jack Sawinski, Andrew McCutchen, and Brian Reynolds are getting a lot of at-bats in the outfield, there's no point. Mets have signed utility infielder Jose Rondon to a minor league deal. Again, just organizational depth for them. Robert Gsellman signed a minor deal with the Nationals. I could see him starting games for the Nationals or pitching out of the bullpen because he's been a swing guy with the Mets before. It's a good move for the Nationals. Buy low, trade at the deadline. Cody Stashnik's re-signed with the Giants a minor league deal. Tyler Zuber's going to Cleveland a minor league deal. Marlins won the arbitration case for Jazz Chisholm. And they should, because Jazz Chisholm fell back down to earth offensively, and he was terrible in center field, and he can't stay healthy. It's the Marlins' mistake of continuing to play this man in center field when he's not a center fielder. Cubs DFA Michael Rucker, Cale Hamilton signed mind with the Angels. That's organizational depth. Brandon Houston, D-backs, organizational depth, but I can see maybe pitches and innings on a bullpen. Texas Rangers re-signed Travis Jankowski. That's a good move because Adolis Garcia is set in right field. I don't know if Evan Carter is going to be everyday center fielder or everyday left fielder. But again, when Garcia got hurt in the playoffs, Giancarlo was perfect. Slide him in. He's an injury replacement outfielder, defensive replacement, pinch runner. Like, that's the type of move that championship teams make, and he's always a useful guy who can play all three outfield spots. Royals have picked up Adam Frazier on a $4.5 million deal, but have stated that Michael Massey is going to be the everyday second baseman still, which I don't get this. There are teams like the White Sox, for example, that don't have a second baseman, okay? The Mariners are not sure about their second base position in general, like when this move was made. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, Angels are not sure, Red Sox are not sure, so there's a lot of teams. Milwaukee's not 100% sure. Like, there's a lot of teams where you're just like, There's maybe, I think 5 or 6 teams, maybe 7 or 8, that could definitely use a second baseman in Adam Frazier. I don't get the Royals are going to make him a utility guy because he's not an outfielder. And that's kind of the problem with the Royals. Playing Nick Pratto in the outfield, playing MJ Melendez in the outfield, that guy we mentioned earlier on in the Mariners, Samad Taylor, like, again, playing infielders in the outfield. Very, very stupid. They even played Hunter Dozier back in the day in the outfield. So it's like, annoys me that they do that. And they like Miguel Garcia at third base, and they obviously have Bobby Witt. So Adam Frazier, he's never going to play, and that's just a waste of time for a guy who could be a starting player. Cubs have picked up former Phillies closer and longtime setup man in baseball Hector Neris on a $9 million deal. The Cubs, that's a good move for their bullpen. He's been there, done that, as an issue with the Cubs last year with their bullpen, so that's a good move. He could have helped like teams that are already playoff teams, but hey, $9 million is a lot of money. Cleveland has brought back Carlos Carrasco on minor deal. That's where he started before he got traded before he went to the Mets. Plesac is gone. So like Cleveland definitely needs some guys to pitch in the back of the rotation, eat up innings outside of Shane Bieber, so because he hasn't been the most healthiest. So that's a good move for them to bring him back because everyone likes him. A's have picked up Alex Wood, and again, he's going to start games for them because their whole rotation, no matter if it's Blackburn or Blackburn, that's like the one A's pitcher I can think of because they're not a good team, that he could start a good amount of games for them, has an average season, teams are desperate starting pitchers, they can trade with deadline for a prospect. Mets have re-signed Adam Ottavino on a $4.5 million deal that helps out their bullpen because he's been a closer and a reliever, but he did decline his player option. So I'm not sure about the financial implications of that, but he could have literally just picked up his player option. Twins announced Byron Buxton after playing DH all of last year. It's going to play center field. Well, yeah, Michael A. Taylor's gone. And most of the outfielders on the Twins 4-man roster are more corner guys or DHs or can't stay healthy. So it makes sense. When he played center field, he was one of the best two-way players in baseball if he was healthy. So that makes a lot of sense. Tigers signed prospect Colt Keith, to a 6-year, $28.6 million deal that runs through 2032. Apparently, he's one of the best prospects in baseball. Tigers are going to really lock this guy up, and hopefully that they do the whole method of, let's not worry about starting the arbitration clock with the whole Chris Bryant issue, the White Sox signing guys like Robert before he even got his debut. So they're locking him up. Angels picked up Aaron Hicks, and I'm just going to tell you this again. Taylor Ward and Mike Trout can't stay healthy. Mickey Moniak, they just only got him a few years ago, and they haven't played him enough. And Joe Adell, again, can't stay healthy. So you had 3 guys who can't stay healthy, and then a young guy who doesn't get the most consistent playing time. And they've been playing a lot of infielders in the outfield. Aaron Hicks will play all 3 outfield spots. He can start at DH. He could be a useful piece, and again, trade him at the deadline. Gabriel Gonzalez and Darren Bowen and Justin Topa and Anthony Safani are going to the Twins in a trade for Jorge Polanco. Jorge Polanco is the often injured second baseman, former Twins shortstop, who's been an all-star, who's hit 20-plus home runs in a season, who this year plays some third base, but he's also known for being a steroid user. And the Twins like Edward Julian second base. They like Royce Lewis, who's a shortstop playing third base because they got Carlos Correa under contract. So I get why the Twins would do that, but I'm looking at this like this. So if Jorge Polanco started playing games at third base last year, and now you trade him this year, you could have kept the reigning batting champion in the American League previous season and this past season, Luis Arraez. Like, literally, you trade away, like, your best position player because he's a batting title champion in 2 leagues. Like, it's like a headache right there, man. I maybe have a headache, but it's like, that feels like a headache because the Twins, yes, Pablo Lopez was an all-star caliber pitcher for them, but you could have had Luis Arraez at second base and play Polanco with, like, third base or even DH the guy because he's not a great defensive player. So I just don't get it. I get Seattle because the whole Colton Wong train blew up in their face and he never turned out. And they were just grabbing for pieces of second base last year. And they don't need like Gabriel Gonzalez, Justin Topa, Darren Bowman. Those are extra players. They just got DeSclafani from San Francisco, and I thought that's going to be a good move because they traded Robbie Ray over there. But the Twins will get DeSclafani, who, again, if healthy, will eat a lot of innings for them. And they'd rather get the innings from DeSclafani, Topa, and whatever Gonzalez and Bowen are going to give them over Polanco because they have a set infield right now. Justin Turner's going to Toronto on a $13 million deal, and that's a good deal because, again, he wasn't like Brandon Bell, who played the occasional first base for the team. He could obviously play first base when Guerrero needed today off. He could play third base because they got IKF, who's more of a glorified utility player at third base. And he even played some games at second base this season for the Red Sox. He can play second base. So he gives you 3 positions outside of DH and still a good offensive player. So that's a good move for their lineup no matter where he plays. And speaking of the Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be the cover athlete of MLB The Show 2024. Joining his father, who was a cover athlete before, which is pretty cool. Rangers are hoping that Corey Seager is ready at opening date because he had sports hernia surgery. So that's not good because we saw how good he was in the postseason. Like, he's a clutch player. You need him. Orioles, big news. They've sold the team for $1.725 billion, and Cal Ripken Jr. is part of ownership of the group. You got Frank and Brooks Robinson and Jim Palmer and Eddie Murray. Those are players you think are synonymous with the Orioles. But obviously, Cal Ripken Jr. is obviously Mr. Oriole, in my opinion. Baltimore specifically, because obviously the Orioles were the Cleveland Browns before. Look it up. So that's good for Cal Ripken Jr. to be part of the ownership group of Baltimore and the Orioles changing ownership. And it's a good time because they literally just made the playoffs this year, and they have high expectations, so it's a good time to sell them. Congratulations to Lance Berkman, Houston Sports Hall of Fame. He was a very impactful player for the Houston Astros. Makes sense. Remember when Craig Stamen last year at 39 tore something in his arm and he wasn't sure if he was going to just get surgery and rehab and try to play at 40? He decided, you know what? I don't want to do that. And the Padres announced that he's going to be a player development guy. So that's cool. The thing about Craig Stamen is he comes up with the starting pitcher with the Nationals, turned himself into a really good setup man with the National and a crucial setup man for the Padres when Kirby Yates was like the closer, and he did everything for the Padres. He's been an opener, a bulk guy, mop-up guy, all this other stuff, and he's done a lot, so that's why he's going to stay with the team. Wandy Peralta gets himself a 4-year, $16.5 million deal from the Padres, who we know we said they lost Josh Hader, Nick Martinez. They lost a lot of pitchers this offseason, the Padres. So they went out and got a Japanese import and a Korean import and spent a lot of money on those two guys. And now they're like, let's get Wandy Peralta, who's had some good seasons with the Yankees, but before then was, in my opinion, a journeyman who bounced around. So it's a lot of money, but again, spread out over 4 years, $6.5 million. If you take him as a seventh inning guy with the 2 foreign imports you got, that may make up for the loss to Josh Hader and all the other relievers you lost. So that's not a bad decision of bulking up the bullpen, but they still have questions in the rotation and the outfield with the Juan Soto and Trent Grisham trade. That's just me. They announced that when Cleveland does their home opener this upcoming season, it'll be a total solar eclipse. That's going to be interesting to have to deal with. Scientists find that interesting. Baseball fans will find that interesting. Diamond Sports Group is expected to keep the Cleveland Guardians, Texas Rangers, and Minnesota Twins broadcast at least for this year, because we've talked about it on the podcast and on the video, on the Radar podcast, on the Radar, Raise Money Quarterback, Off the Radar, all those podcasts that I've mentioned that all these these regional television stations are dropping teams, they're going bankrupt. Then like local teams have to figure out what they got to do. Major League Baseball's doing them, so that's more of a thing there. So it's at least those 3 teams will stay there. Jake Diekman signed a 2-year, they said it's going to be somewhere between $8 to $10 million. That's a good move for the Mets. Jake Diekman, Adam Ottavino, Edwin Diaz coming back from injury. That's not a bad 7th, 8th, and 9th inning role. Richard Bleier signed a minor to the Nationals. He had a little bit of a down year with the Red Sox, injured season. But if he's healthy and he's anywhere near what he was with Baltimore and Miami, then the Nationals, again, like they did with Robert Gsellman, they can flip him at the deadline and get players back. A's have outrighted Francisco Perez. Brewers DFA Ethan Small. Cardinals have signed Kenyon Middleton. He had a really good season with the White Sox, was parlayed into the Sox were able to trade him to the Yankees, and then he became a free agent, and the Cardinals go, we've lost a lot of relievers and players in free agency, so we might as well get ourselves a good middle relief pitcher. And if they have a bad season again, they can always trade him. Ken Giles got a minor deal with the Atlanta Braves. Again, when Ken Giles was healthy, like Kirby Yates in the back in the day and some other guys, like because of battle injury, he was a dominant closer. So if he's healthy, it's a good move for Atlanta to keep this guy, or to have this guy around. That's a good move. Theo Epstein is now a partial owner of Fenway Sports, which means he become a senior advisor back with the Red Sox, where it all started. Comes full circle. Interesting there. The Mets have also signed Shitaro Fujinami, who was that big-time Japanese starting pitcher who, remember, the A's signed him, and then he was so bad as a starter, they moved him to the bullpen, and he was good enough as a reliever, the Orioles traded him for the playoff. So the Mets got Adam Ottavino back, and they bring in Jake Diekman, and they bring the Fujinami guy. So they're really beefing up this bullpen because they know when you trade Verlander and Scherzer at the deadline last year, and Carlos Carrasco will become a free agent, and it's literally, is Quintana healthy? Cody Sengai and him are the two of the big name guys in the rotation. You got to beef up the bullpen. Red Sox acquired outfielder Tyler Heineman, who was DFA'd recently, and they DFA'd Diego Castillo, who they picked up. Diego Castillo, who's like not that reliever, though, like a wiffle ball pitch, keeps going from team to team to team to team. Tyler Heineman is now on the Red Sox. I don't know what that's going to do. Angels won arbitration for reliever Jose Suarez. And then there were two more trades. Ross Stripling, who I was like, wow, okay, so the Giants traded away DeSclafani, and Alex Wood left in free agency. And they get Robbie Ray, who's not going to be healthy, right? So, to the first half, it's like, okay, cool. Nope, they trade Ross Stripling, I thought they were going to rely on this guy to eat innings as a starter reliever, and they traded for outfielder Jonah Cox, and then the A's DFA Jonah Bride. So literally what the A's are doing is they get Alex Wood and Ross Stripling, two former San Francisco Giants. They're literally going across the bay, and again, if they have good enough seasons, they can flip them at the deadline, which is what the A's always do. They just trade away their talent and get prospects back. The biggest trade that I'm going to get to before we go to anything else is that the Orioles have acquired Corbin Burns for infield prospect Joey Ortiz and left-handed reliever DJ Hall. Adding Corbin Burns to rotation that already has Dean Kremer, Jonathan Means, who came back from Tommy John last year and was okay. They just want to left him off the playoff roster. Kyle Bradish broke out as a player, and Grayson Rodriguez improved in the second half season as a rookie. That's like a 1 through 5. That's probably better than what the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Rays have. They're probably the best rotation in that division. Probably one of the best in all the American League. So that's a good move. It weakens Milwaukee because that just leaves Freddie Peralta as the only good pitcher on the Brewers staff. Now then, the Yankees announced some changes to their minor league staff. And Shelly Duncan's staying in AAA. And he's got Graham Johnson as pitching coach, Trevor Emakane is hitting coach, Jose Javier is defensive coach, and Geraldo Casero is the bullpen coach. Double-A, Raul Dominguez has Brett Degani as the pitching coach, Kevin Meter is the hitting coach, Aaron Bossi is the defensive coach. Now at High A Hudson Valley, Nick Ortiz the manager, Spencer Medic is pitching, Rick Rano is hitting coach, Derek Woodley is defensive coach with Zach Wasserman, Tampa Bay Terrans have James Cooper, pitching coach is Preston Claiborne, the former pitcher, Tom DeAngels and Michael Hernandez. The Marlins announced changes to the jerseys of the blue uniforms, the black trims, and the reddish, white lettering. Like the white jerseys are white. The black jerseys are white lettering with the reddish trim, and the white jerseys are black, blue, and red. Just check out the photos on the internet. There's a photo of Skip Schumacher, Luis Ariz, and Jake Berger in the jerseys. Nationals are announcing after this season they're going to be retiring their City Connect cherry blossoms, which I always thought was weird because it was gray with flowers and stuff. I didn't understand it, but they're retiring that. They've also announced 2 new jerseys where it's a white jersey with dark navy blue sleeves with red and white trimming at the bottom. They got the outline of the state of D.C. with the D.C. name, like D.C. on there. On the actual jersey, you got the Nike logo, obviously, but you got Washington with 2 stars, a big W with the Capitol building. That doesn't look bad. And then their road is gray with black lettering with the trimming of the yellow and red around it, red letters for the number, the Nationals logo with the W in a circle on one side. So it's not bad. Check it out. And I just wanted to mention the Yasuo Puig got into a huge brawl in the Venezuelan League, so go check out the video. Last thing, happy trails to former infielder Jimmy Williams and manager and coach. Jimmy Williams is probably considered one of the greatest managers in Blue Jays and Red Sox history. He won 2 World Series, but obviously those were his coaches. And he won Manager of the Year in 1999. So he was also in the California Angels system, and then he obviously won his World Series as a coach for Toronto in 1995 and 2008 as a coach for the Phillies. So, man, when you manage 3 Major League teams, have a Major League career of your own, win Manager of the Year, and win 2 World Series as coach, not a bad. He's got a .910 and .790 record as a manager, .535 win percentage. He's passed away age of 80. Rest in peace to him. And on a nice note, happy trails to longtime pitcher Joe Smith. 55 and 34 career record with a 3.14 ERA and 606 strikeouts. He's what you know as a left-handed, a right-handed submarine pitcher. who played for so many teams: Mets, Cleveland, Los Angeles, Angels, Cubs, Blue Jays, Indians, Astros, Mariners, Twins, and then, man, he's done. So he literally was 3-letter varsity letterman in baseball and pitched 5 years for the American Amateurs Congress team. And he went to college and had a pretty good career where he won WSU team MVP and the second team All Midwest Region, first team Horizon League, Horizon Pitcher of the Year, Most Valuable Male Athlete. You know, he did a lot of these other things, and then obviously he went to the Mets. And, you know, he became a relief pitcher, and then he became a really good relief pitcher and bounced around the league all around as a guy who needed it, but then he couldn't stay healthy. And then obviously he was on the Astros for a bit of time. So he had a really interesting thing as he came to batters from the third base side. So like a sidearm, a little high submarine thing. And yeah, so just happy trails on a long career, Joe Smith. You were at 39. It's time to call it quits. Thanks for listening to others of MLB Observations. This was the week 13 of the Hotstove edition ending 2023 season, going into this year's 2024 season. Around the Rectangle Black and Radar. See you guys next time.